What's up everybody, and welcome to SeaTown Spotlight. I'm your host Rio Barber, and today I'm at the Duwamish Longhouse and Cultural Center for the Native Gift Fair and Holiday Art Market. Before we begin, I'd like to acknowledge that we are on the ancestral lands of the Duwamish people, past and present, who've been here for more than 10,000 years. We honor with gratitude the land itself and the Duwamish Tribe, the first people of Seattle.
Chahadeya Hanastiska Sanaklik Has Haya Heya Agade Tatsugan Duacha Heya 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 Aya.
The Duwamish means the people of the inside, which means Puget Sound. A long time ago they wore cedar dresses, and if you look at our exhibit, they made their cookware out of cedar and wood, and they dressed in cedar, and they hunted, and they used the animals' skins to make their clothing. Our chief, Chief Shaa, signed a treaty in 1855, giving up 54,000 acres, but unfortunately they did not give the promises to our people. So we never got a reservation, or nor did we get any health or education or anything that they give tribes once they're signed a treaty with the federal government. We're still here though, yeah. And even though we might have some injustice thrown at us, we have the tenacity to hang in there and to share our history. Even though we didn't get any resources, we were able to secure 2/3 of an acre, and we raised over $3 million to build the Longhouse. And the whole idea is to share the culture and the history of the Duwamish Tribe.
And while this historical exhibit is open for the public year-round, the Duwamish Longhouse also opens its doors for community events that showcase Native artists and their crafts. This year's Native Gift Fair and Holiday Art Market included everything from beadwork to wood carvings, jewelry, and paintings. Meet certified tribal artist Margie Morris, who has been making elk skin drums for the past 40 years.
I cut out all of the stringing material out of elk skin, so this is a maple rim with all elk skin. The Tlingit and Haida have two main family crests, eagle and raven. They have to marry the opposite crest, and so eagles and ravens are considered the lovebirds. I joined a dance group, and the second practice I was in, the drummer was Blackfeet. He decided that they needed an Alaska Native drummer, and he passed the drum around and he went, "You're it." And I went, "I don't know the songs, the dances, I don't even own a drum." And he went, "You're coming over and learning how to make drums." And so I went over and made my first drum. Hey-ya, 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 ah-ya, ya, honey, ah-ya, ya, hey-ya, hey-ya, hey.
Generations of families participate in creating these crafts, including mother-daughter duo Sharon and Carla Brown.
We have teas of all kinds, hand-picked by my daughter and I. Carla makes necklaces and chokers. My youngest daughter, Christine, makes the quilts.
Thank you.
We make moccasins. We take special orders, whatever you want. So they're all handmade. It's been like handed down to them, and she will keep up with this when I'm done, but it's really great, and she loves doing it as much as I do.
The chokers are made out of water buffalo horn bones. They're carved out of them. I buy all the pieces and I put them together. I taught my 12-year-old granddaughter how to make them, and these are her favorite to make. And my sister and I are hunters. We go out hunting, and these are real wolf teeth that we put on the chokers. And to sit there and work together and to teach my grandkids, her great-grandkids, how to make them. And they all want to take over the business when we're done.
From the Upper Skagit tribe, meet Coast Salish artist Peter BOOME, owner of ARAQUIN Designs. He has been painting and wood carving for over 30 years.
Coast Salish art is from the Seattle area, is from the Puget Sound, interior of Vancouver Island and through British Columbia. This giant one is the origin of a river. So we have the sun or moon, and the sky with the Big Dipper, and then mountains with the snow cap, the white is the snow cap, and the river is originating from the mountain, rolling down through into the ocean. I wanted to explore negative and positive space because it's really important within our style. So I have two salmon here, they're reverse of each other. We have the head, and then the body, and the tail, and the pectoral fin and dorsal fin. Birds in there, in the negative and the positive space. So the tail is also a bird. I added some insects in there, things that depend on salmon for sustenance and for life. That one is an eagle. Then we have the two faces where the elbow joint would be. The feathers become hair. And so the title of that one is Sisters. So it's a guardian figure for a house, but it's a female guardian figure. I thought it was important to have more strong and powerful female imagery within my own work. That one is a thunderbird flying through a cloud. It's gathering lightning and charge in its body. It's gathering strength and power. And up in the corner I have a thunder being. So it's about every now and then people need to go do what they have to do to recharge and re-energize themselves, and that's what that Thunderbird is doing. We're thriving and that we are a resilient people, and I think that we are a very strong people. We're still here, we're still doing it, we're still out there, and we're growing in strength and we're growing internally, and I think that resilience is something to really be proud of.
And that inner strength and resiliency shines through with Native American deaf business owner Aletha Ballew.
I'm from Lummi Nation. I started learning to do this stuff when I was like around 10, 12 years old.
Aletha opened Native Knits after learning to spin wool from her grandmother as a child. She makes wool hats, headbands, cedar ornaments, and custom denim jackets.
This is my new trend. I do jackets from baby to size 4X.
You can find her designs online at facebook.com/native knits. This next artist will catch your eye with her vibrant colors, blending tradition with modern techniques. Meet multimedia artist Megan McDermott, who creates watercolor and acrylic paintings, nutcrackers, and beaded jewelry.
I've been beading roughly 6.5 years. I grew up watching my grandmother bead, and she was enrolled with the Blackfeet tribe in Browning in Montana. She passed when I was 15, but I had some beadwork of hers, and I was able to kind of figure out how, that's how I learned the peyote stitch, was through looking at her beadwork. The fire and watercolors, that's common across like all kinds of tribes. And some colors are more like sacred to different tribes, like some region, a lot of Coast Salish people love red and black. Or there's medicine wheel colors like red, white, yellow. Or some beads are dyed naturally from different bark colors and different plants indigenous to your region. Or they're dyed from like berries. Before I learned beading, I've been painting all my life, and I wanted to connect my two loves of paints and beads. So with that one, I first illustrated the horse, just because growing up in Montana, I always loved running around in fields and everything, and I loved thunderstorms, and I always thought of them as horses. I just wanted to show like something powerful and really, really strong. And I wanted to challenge myself to see how it would look with beads, and it really made me think really differently. With beadwork, you know, it's just like, it's a family tradition. You know, it's important for me to keep that going.
And last but not least, an apparel brand that's honoring its cultural legacy while making positive changes for future generations. Marcella Tomlin, owner of Habit Apparel by TLLC, shares what inspired her designs.
Last year was the first time that we were experiencing such separation due to the pandemic. On top of that, it was just becoming really difficult for me to relate to a lot of the things that people collectively experience, and it was around Thanksgiving that I had to ask myself, why in the world am I celebrating Thanksgiving? I don't want to do this anymore. And so instead of really celebrating, I decided to put that into my art, and that's how I created Reconciliation. Being an Afro-Indigenous person, I wanted to not only bring semblance to my identity when it comes to the ongoing contention that we have in this country when it comes to Black and Indigenous people of color, But also I wanted to create something that brought our attention to the idea of what it means to have reconciliation. And that has to go back to that beginning trauma and that ongoing legacy that continues to affect Black and Indigenous people. And so in creating this symbol, it's a symbol of solidarity, it's a symbol of strength and power, and hopefully it'll become a movement that gets people not only acknowledging how we can overcome what we have continued to struggle through, but also how we can heal from it and create something new.
If you would like to give back and stand in solidarity with the Duwamish Tribe, you can make a donation by calling 206-431-1582 or visit realrentduwamish.org.